Hey, what's up, guys? Define99 here, otherwise AKA known as Matt Roywall. I don't know why I love doing that, but I do. Um, so this is part two of the con video, and I wanted to talk. No, part two, baby.
No, because you did one yesterday. That was part three.
Yeah, but I messed up, and I'm not going to use that. I had a little bit too much to drink, and was not pronouncing my words properly. Or I was, my brain was sluggish. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about why the con was important and what we did. And I think one of the reasons the con was important was because of who was there. We had Tim Bildhauser there, Liam Sturgis, Hector Banda, me, and a bunch of new guys, Joey Anuv, Charles Giddings, Jansen, who Jansen's been hanging out for the longest time. He's kind of an old school guy too, but Jansen wasn't in our private group that created the magazine at the CGC boards, but Jansen has been doing this for years. So there was a perfect and Timothy Coopin, who is a little newer, but as a dealer has immense knowledge and has, the forward-thinking ability to realize that this niche is the bomb. And so he has been kind of a mover and a shaker within the niche, as well as just basically being one of a few dealers that has the balls to put foreigns out on the floor when he goes to shows. So it was like a perfect mix of new and old guys, and the magazine was started by us to kind of create an awareness about why this niche or why this part of the hobby is just so freaking cool. And to have Tim, Liam, me, and Hector there all in the same room, it was something I've been kind of thinking about happening for the longest time. These are friendships that have been built over almost a decade now. We're sad. We're missing some old timers. In the early days of the magazine, we're definitely missing some old timers. Tony Pomilla wasn't able to make it. Ken Worthing from the UK was not able to make it. Scott McManus from Dallas was not able to make it. Ron and Brian Rickard, the two brothers, Ron being the Star Wars expert. I consider him a Star Wars foreign expert. He wouldn't say that. And Brian, kind of a newer, his brother entered the foreign kind of world a little bit later, but he's kicking ass, building the La Prensa FF run, which is huge and crazy thing to try to fill out. So we did have some notable exceptions, and there was a whole bunch of newer guys that I would have loved to have been there. And Joshua Biddle being someone that I think of. There's a lot of people. I mean, for me to try to go on a list would be huge. So, yeah, it sucked that a lot of people weren't able to make it. But this was the first meeting of hardcore foreign collectors that we put on. And I'd like to thank everyone that was there, all the new guys that showed up that I got to meet for the first time, like Joey Anuv, never met him, cool guy. The guy at Coop's shop, his name was Will, super cool guy. Got to meet Jansen for the first time, and never met him. And Hector, I'd never been in the same space with him. So it was an awesome time. And we talked a lot about foreigns. And one of the subjects that we did talk about that I think has some merit, and for a lot of you that are hunting foreigns, there are times when you come across a foreign that is expensive and you wonder, should I pay that? I think it's probably $100 or $200 more expensive than what it's actually worth. Well, you're probably right, but you have to factor in this game. You have to factor in, James Zeef, a newish guy, he's from Denver. I really wish he had come too. He's another one that wasn't able to make it. But moving on again, you have to factor in how much time it's going to take for another buying opportunity to arise. And could it take a year? Could it take 2 years? Could it take 3 years? How much is 2 years of your time worth? when you need a rare book for your collection that you just have to have. You know, if a seller wants $400 for a book and you think it's worth more in the 200 range, then you've got to go back and you've got to look at it and go, how many buying ops have popped up in the last 2, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And if it's not many, then you got to factor in what your time is worth. Is 2 years of waiting worth $200? In many instances, when it's a badass book, I don't think so. I think it's better to just pay the extra $200 to get the damn thing. Have I overpaid for foreigns? Hell yes, I've overpaid for them. Have I underpaid? Hell yes, I've underpaid as well. But you know, there's a value equation there that it's just different from American collecting that you have to kind of come to. I picked up some cool shit. Other people picked up some cool shit. We gave away a bunch of cool shit. What we did was after the Saturday day went down, here's my doggy, Naomi. We went to a Brazilian steakhouse called Tucanos. It's on Central Avenue, the main downtown strip in Albuquerque. And we ate a wonderful meal. And everyone showed up, and it was awesome. Jansen brought his wife Ray. Charles brought his fiance Jen. Both two beautiful women. Naomi, here,
I got it.
play with her. Get her away from me.
Not to get away!
And what we did was, after everyone had eaten and was kind of tackling dessert, we took a cup. I had everyone write their names down. The couples could only get one name to make it fair. And we gave away some shit. And Hector, I mean, I'll tell you the biggest deal. Okay, so we gave away a French limited edition Wolverine. Yeah, I believe it had all 4 issues, but it had issue 3's cover. It was French. I believe it was published by CMYC. We had what I had found. It was 2001 Taiwanese Chinese book. Extremely fucking rare book, as I'm sure you've heard in all the other videos when I talk about it. I'm proud of how rare that book is. Extremely rare book. I mean, it's those Taiwanese marvels from the Bronze Age are fucking ghosts. And then of everything, Hector Bonda brought a Spider-Man Bronze Age set. I forget the issue number, but it's the one where Spidey's kind of swinging in from the side frame, and you have the Goblin, or I forget which villain, kind of like surprised, and he's kind of like turning to, I think it's a Goblin. I don't know. Or maybe not. It's not the Goblin. Who is it? Anyways, I forget. But it was a badass set, and it had an Indonesian bootleg and a slab, which is a first. I've never seen that. And yeah, so let's get to it. I want to show that clip at dinner. It's a little dark, but you should be able to see it. So let's get to it.
Okay, Liam, what did you win?
Oh, are we filming?
Yeah.
I won Taiwanese copy of 2001 Space Odyssey.
Nice.
This is my first issue in this set, which I will now begin.
Nice.
And we were just going through to see if there are any living creators left. Maybe get some autographs. We'll
Nice.
see. We'll see. It is quite rare, so I don't know.
Oh, it's extremely rare.
So I don't know if we want to ink it up. So thank you. This is great.
Awesome. Mr. Tim.
Is this German or French?
French.
French.
Unreich is French?
Un recit complete.
Récit complet.
Okay. You say so. I want a French comic. But I want that one that Liam had.
Well, you're gonna have to talk to Liam about that.
I know. But thank you for organizing this. It's really nice to see you guys.
Nice,
Nice to
awesome.
see
Love you,
everyone.
Coop. Love you,
Thanks,
Coop.
Mike Boyer.
There's Mr. Tim. Here's Hector. There's Charles. Hi, Charles and Jen. Here's our good buddy Joey. And Jansen. Here's our resident Wrightson expert here. And this guy, he's just crazy. I don't even know who he is.
Dude, I never had a foreign comic before. This is awesome, man.
This guy's never had a foreign comic before, and he just won the mother load. Look at that. Start with the Indonesian. That is the Indonesian bootleg. The French Comic-Rama, French Canadian.
So that's my number one.
Greek. There's 2 Greeks, I believe, in this set. Yep.
I just
Okay.
And then I have an artist from Mexico.
Got the Mexican Novedades.
So that's
I believe this was a box set out of Europe.
and it's down to.
You'll notice the different flags there, the different prices. This is the Marvel UK.
Issue 2, I'm watching on Kickstarter.
The Cabanas Hellas Greek.
And
Another UK. This is the Comics Weekly.
this is going to be the cover for it.
The Mexican Mac.
I have variants.
And to top it all off, the Colombian Cinco.
This is awesome,
And your,
man.
name, your name's Will, right?
Yeah, man. This is incredible. I never had a foreign comic before, and always collected comics.
And he won the raffle.
This is amazing, man. Yeah, I'm so stoked. This is
Awesome.
incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, Will hit the frickin' mother loop. Please excuse me, by that time I was already a few beers in, so I was a little loopy. And then the next clip, I'm even loopier. I'm embarrassed even to show it because I'm sounding like a freak. But I'm going to show it anyway because I share everything on Facebook and I tend, or YouTube or whatever, I tend to be okay with looking like a fool. I was losing my voice because of all the talking that I was doing. I'm sure people got tired of hearing me talk. But this next clip will be later at the hotel. So after that, we walked back to the hotel, and Jansen brought out a big, huge box of foreign horror and cool stuff. And we went through all that stuff, and we gave away that George Perez, which Joey Anouf won, and that was really neat because I wanted him to win something. But I promise, I didn't rig that. I had picked number 5 in my head, and Joey got it, so that wasn't rigged. So yeah, that's up next. Oop, I just gave it away. Who won? Oh, that's stupid.
It's good. Those Stereo.
Seven people, couples are part of the one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Here's a George Perez.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
I need you to pick a number between 1 and 8. And in my mind, I'm going to pick my number. And
Were you about to say the number? And that number is?
pick a number between 1 and 8. Oh, no, but I'm not playing. I have one of these. Okay, so. You know what that means? One and 8.
I'm one of the top tier artists for Star Wars when it comes to trading cards. So what's the name?
Oh, man. This is flawed from the start.
Pick a number. How much? Charles, pick a number. I do 7.
No, oh, you say it out loud. Okay.
3. 2.
I can't. I already won something.
That's right. Oh, that's easy. I got 1.
I wanted to do two.
Yeah! That's great. Hooray!
Okay. That's the last giveaway. Are you sure? Yes, that's the last giveaway.
How does it feel to be so generous?
I'm losing my voice, man.
Fair enough. We'll cut her there.
Okay, yeah. So you can see me acting like a fool. I was drinking. So I picked up some books at the con, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with my buys. From Coop, I got some really neat stuff. From Coop. Open the glare. Here's a Tech 582. I think it's 582. It's, you know. And this was a neat run. It's got the Brayfogle art. Kind of cool with Batman. And these are Thai. This is a Thai Tech 582. This one is the Tech 589 tie. I hope that handles the glare. Tech 589. And what's weird about these is, I mean, it almost looks like it, I don't know, the quality on the art isn't so hot. It's a little fuzzy. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm guessing the Thai publisher just didn't have, maybe for this issue they had to kind of cut some corners on the artwork. This is my favorite of the Thai bats though. This is the Tech 587. And I hope I got my numbers right. I think it's the 587. It's in the fives. And what a neat cover. I mean, that's neat. Classic Brayfogle. Neat, neat, neat. Batman standing in the rain with the little riblets of the water. And I love the Thai fonts and the Thai language. The Thai language is so neat. Really, really cool. Also from Coop. He was saving this one for me because he knows me. He knows that I build the 133. This is the Polish X-Men 133. It's the first solo Wolverine story. He fights the Hellfire Club. I believe the rest of the X-Men are trapped. And I build this set. And sometimes the Polish books can be hard to get out of Poland. So the fact that I didn't have to worry about, the fact that I didn't have to worry about pulling this out of Poland and Coop just had it at his booth, awesome. Saved me the struggle with having to source one. My X-Men set, my 133 set is going to be very, very happy with that. Here's a random Brazilian bats with Deathstroke, which I didn't need it, but it's such a nice copy. It's very nice, and it's the way they handled it with some silver on there. It's kind of neat. I like it. It's cool. And like the Brazilian stuff, this is one of the little digest sized. I think this is, I don't know if this is an Abril or not. I'd have to look inside it if it's Abril from Brazil. These two really turned me on. World's Finest 209, Adams cover. Can't go wrong with Neil Adams, guys. And this is an e-ball. And it's got very nice staples. I mean, they're discolored like most e-ball staples, but it is not one with extremely rusty staples. And I haven't opened the book yet, so I don't know what the rust migration on the interior will look like. But this was really cool. And so I don't have any of these foreigns or the American, the World's Finest, 209. But I might have to build this set. Why? Because Coop had the Aussie as well. Look at that. That is cool. He had the Aussie on top of everything else. That was neat. So I got both of those. Build that set. Also from Coop. I forget. I think this is a giant-sized Chillers. Something with Spider-Man. I thought it was giant-sized Chillers, but this is the UK Pence copy. This is the Marvel UK Fangs of the Vampire, and it's really, really, decent condition. It's not mint by any means, but and UK books can be found. But I thought it's cool. I like the oversized UK books, and why not? It's pretty cool. And, oh yeah, Craven's Last Hunt storyline. This is the classic cover. One of them. There's a couple within the storyline, but I like this book a lot. And it's a Novedades. And this is one of the Novedades that's a little bit bigger. And yeah, so can't beat that. That's a cool book. Very pleased with that. Craven, Vermin, El Rana, Creación in Spanish. So this is a Mexican Novedades. Very, very cool. So that's everything I got from Coop. Jim Noble is one of Tim's peers at CBCS. and he is a comic writer. He got me, so he writes his own comic book. The heroine in that is a girl by the name of Violet, and she is a very adult girl who likes adult things. And yeah, so he gave me a copy of his Virgin #1. So there's no title, there's no nothing, it's just artwork. And he wrote, Jim's kind of a nasty guy. He is definitely a nasty guy. Very nasty mind. His name's, he wrote, "Let's eat out tonight." And of course, making sure my son isn't looking. What does that mean? Wonder what that means, Violet. And I have appropriately covered her up. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. And I forget the name of the title of his book because it doesn't have it on there. But I like it. And, you know, the print runs on these were very small. And maybe one day, you know, this book will be worth some real money. You know, if Jim Noble becomes, I think his last name, Jim Noble. I thought that's what it was. Jim, if I'm getting your last name wrong, I'm sorry. If he becomes like a hotshot writer, writing, you know, for some big company someday, then I'm going to take this book and maybe I'll flip it for a few foreigns. But yeah, definitely not reading SETI that one. That was cool. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Don't make me bring it, Donna. Nobody wants Naimi.
Okay. Nobody wants Naimi to attack. I don't. Okay. So Coop, amazing books. I traded him some books. Didn't have to pay a dime. We just traded. And Jim, amazing book. I can't wait to read it. You know, in a dark, seedy corner of some alley somewhere. No, just kidding. I'll read it once everyone goes to bed. I'll find out how Violet's adventures go. Okay, Jansen. Jansen brought a bunch of stuff, and I had for him, I believe it was a Swamp Thing 4 Navarro. He's missing a few Navarros in his Mexican Navarro. He's missing a few Swamp Things, Navarro Swamp Things in his run, and so I had one from my bind. I mean, the spine was destroyed, but I think it's a good placeholder for him. I think it was Swampy 4. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, from him, I was able to get this Swamp Thing 18. Swamp Thing 18. And it's an Aguila. See down here? It says Aguila. That means eagle. Notice how small these books are. And, you know, the Aguilas don't survive very well. This one isn't surviving too hot. But, you know, I haven't really had many options to buy swampy Aguilas. The early issues were Avestruz, which are bigger. And, I mean, from my understanding, I think as you get further along, some of those later issues can be tough. Some of the Aguila issues can be tough. Particularly the Wrightson Aguila issues can be tough. I'm not so sure about this one. I think this is a Nestor Redondo cover. But anyway, very cool. Love it. It's a little, you know, it's got a tear and it's got some issues, but I like the cover and I like the format. The Aguila format Navarros are awesome. And, you know, you can't go wrong with them. Pretty neat. These are really neat. Okay, these are Mexican Clásicos del Terror. I couldn't see numbers on them. Colección Primavera. Año 1, Época 1, number 32. So this, okay, so that does have a number. This is 32. This is a cool cover with like a spider woman attacking this dude. It's kind of neat. These Mexican Clásicos del Terror are very cool. These will definitely be going into Ernie's International Terror Group when I get them scanned and maybe even look through them. Here we have another Clásicos del Terror, Año 1, Época 2, number 50, so this is a later one. This one's 50, and it looks like a werewolf guy attacking a dude. And then here's 51, which there's something about this one that I just like the cover. Now it has a stamp in it. I don't mind stamps so much. I think they give books character. And this one is so cool. Just look at all the black. I mean, just this one's neat. For a horror cover, I really like that one. Super neat. And yeah, so there's that one. And then last but not least, Charles Giddings had some badass original art. I showed a little bit in the first video. This is what these are romance. I believe they're like horror / romance digest sized comics. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go through and look at these a little closer because they are special. Charles Giddings, you are the man. Hooking me up with this, I purchased this from Charles, and you know, he's a really close friend, and I think it's the whole book. And do you know how rare it is to find art from long ago that's still complete in its whole, you know, it doesn't matter that it's not superhero or something else. The fact that it's all there is rare, I think. And let's dive into these because I think they're quite cool, quite cool. Okay, guys. Here are some panels. Now, I wanted to talk about something else. There were some others that I meant to call out about not being at the con. Stefan Poitras, he's an old school guy. He should have been there. I would have hoped he could have made it. Ernie, our buddy Ernie, he runs the International Horror Group, Ernie Lasco. It would have been awesome if he could have made it. David Stuckey, another old school guy, he wasn't able to make it. I'm not sure if he knew about it, honestly. He's a little hard to get a hold of. But anyway, those three guys also, Ernie, Stefan, and David Stuckey. And I'm probably missing a few more. You know, it's hard to remember all the people. You know, it's not a lot of us, but people have come in and out of the niche and for a while. So I wanted to call that out. Let's start. So this is the art. This is the name of the story, I believe. Purpuria, whatever that means. Novela de Rafael Silvia Q. Dibuja Francisco Ayala. So I don't know if dibuja is right or draw is Francisco Ayala the artist. I don't know. Anyway, apparently in the story there is a hunchback of some sort, and he kind of harasses this woman. This first panel, you'll see that page 1, it's got him there. It's got him kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of opaque. And he's opaque, and you see kind of the streets in the background, really neat. Another early panel, I love this panel. Look at this guy. Look at that hunchback. Look at his teeth and saliva. Beautiful panel. Another early panel is 15. Apparently, this woman's dog ate something it shouldn't have, and it is getting fucked up. Look at that. Really well done art, I think. Let's see. The next one would probably be 22. I love this one because it's a full panel of her looking worried, sweating. Maybe she's being chased. I like the background. You see kind of the light shining. Really cool panel. And then look at this panel right up here. Look at this one. You got the hunchback looking all mean, and she is freaking out. Corre, corre, which means run, run, get out of there. 3940. There's the hunchback again. I already showed 22. Here is 87. This is a cool panel. I like the trash can. I like her pulling out the gun, and the hunchback's over there. It's a really cool one. I really like this one too with the candle. Almost looks like he's planning what he's gonna do. Looks like the hunchback's planning how he's going to assault the woman or somehow come to her. This is a cool one where it's kind of a side-by-side split. Very interesting. And really well done art, I think. This is another neat one. It's got a good shot of the hunchback's face and a side profile of the woman. I love this one for just the kind of good girl imagery. She's in her 90, thinking about stuff. This is 74, so maybe she's thinking about how she escaped. I'm not sure. And that is just such a cool panel. That might be my favorite panel with the skull and her silhouette. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Charles, I gotta thank you for this, man. This is awesome. And to my Spanish friends, help me find this issue. Purpuria, novela de Rafael Silvia Q, de Bruja Francisco Avala, and I believe the title is Nieno Suspensio 176. Tinta sepia, which means what they did was it was a sepia tone tint. And tiro, I don't know if 22,000 means that's how many copies they printed. Not sure. Purpuria. Help me find this comic book. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I was a little scattered. I'm sorry. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember everyone, and everything is hard. Anyway, love you guys. FCC is out.